Got a phone call from a lady in Birmingham, Alabama. At the end of the conversation, she said, Zig, she said, I believe this woman thinks she's got an impossible problem, but I believe you can solve that problem with her in just a few minutes if you will spend that time with her. I said, well, Laurie, tell her to meet me backstage. I'll get there about 10 minutes early. My schedule was such that was about all I had. Well, I got there, and I was on backstage behind the curtain on one side. She spotted me from the other side, and as she walked across the stage, I have never seen as much anger in a human being in my life as I saw in her. She almost started crying when she saw me. She said, oh, I'm just so glad to see you. I got this horrible job. I hate it. I hate everything about it. I hate everybody down there. I mean, you talking about negative nails, she was it. She said, can you help me? Now, understand, I've only got about 10 minutes. So I looked at her, and one thing I have learned, I don't do counseling, but I talk with a lot of people who do, in psychology, psychiatry, and the ministry. And they tell me that everybody who comes to you with a problem are not necessarily looking for a solution. I couldn't understand that for a long time. Why do they bring you a problem if they don't want to solve it? Well, I can tell you why. They want to tell you about it, you about it, you about it, you about it, and you about it. And if you foul up the deal and solve the problem, they can't tell you again, you again. They want the attention that goes with the problem, and every company just about it has that kind of an individual. They want the attention that goes with griping and complaining. Well, I looked at the lady, and it wasn't unkindly, but firmly I said to her, yes, and you know, ma'am, I'm afraid your problem is about to get worse. She said, what do you mean? I said, I believe they're going to fire you. She was stunned. I couldn't have stunned her more if I'd hit her in the face with a bucket of ice water. She said, fire me? Why on earth would they fire me? The inflection in her voice clearly said, they're the bad guys, I'm the good guy. Why don't they fire them and keep me? Have you ever noticed that people who are the problem never recognize that they are? They're in complete denial. They think denial is just a river in Egypt. Why would they fire me? I said, ma'am, I don't believe there's a company in America big enough to contain this much poison in one small spot. Have you ever noticed that when somebody is about to lose something they've been complaining about, whether it's a car, a home, a mate, a job, or whatever, when all of a sudden it appears they're going to lose them, it takes on brand new value. She looked at me and said, well, what can I do? I said, do you really want to know? She said, yes, I do. That's the reason I came to see you. I came looking for help, but you sure haven't been any help so far. I said, well, ma'am, I've got an idea, and I will absolutely guarantee you it positively, definitely, absolutely will work if you will just do it. She said, I'll try anything within reason. I said, okay, when you get home tonight, all of your household tasks are complete. It's bedtime. Get off in a room right by yourself. Get a sheet of paper out, and at the top of it, write, I like my job because. She interrupted me. She said, that'll be easy. I don't like nothing about that job. Don't like nothing about those people down there. And I said, well, just as a matter of curiosity, do you work there for benevolent reasons, or do they pay you for working there? She said, well, I got to confess, they pay me. And I said, and you don't like to be paid? Oh, she said, yes, I do. I said, okay, tell you what you do. Open your notebook right now. We'll start our list of the things you like about your job. They pay you for working there, and you do like it, don't you? She said, absolutely. But she just stood there. I said, no, open your notebook now, and we'll get busy on the list. She just stood there. I said, ma'am, let me tell you what my experience in life has been. I've discovered that in 100% of the cases, no exceptions, people who won't take step number one never take step number two. You see, she had come to me with an impossible dream. Her dream was that nice Mr. Ziegler was going to solve all of her problems, and she would live happily ever after. But folks, I got news for you. I can't solve her problems. I can't solve your problems. But I will give you some steps that I'll absolutely, definitely, and positively will work for you, as it worked eventually for her. I said, well, ma'am, let me tell you something. Unless you're willing to take step number one right now, it's been nice talking with you. She angrily opened her notebook. Before we got through, there were 22 things she liked about her job. Not only did they pay her for working there, they paid her above average. She had 3 weeks vacation with pay. She had a retirement program. She was in on profit sharing. She had health insurance, life insurance, and accident insurance. She lived less than 10 minutes from home. She was in on management decisions. The company sent her to 3 seminars a year to be paid for. She had her own private office and parking place. 22 things that she liked about her job. Now I said, man, when you get home tonight, everything is finished. Get off in a room right by yourself, close the doors, change one word from I like my job to I love my job. Get in front of that mirror, and folks, I cannot say this strongly enough, but I'm going to try. The eyes are the windows of the soul. Look yourself in the eye, and with excitement and enthusiasm, say, I love my job because they pay me for working there. I love my job because they pay me above average for working there. I love my job because I have a wonderful insurance program. I love my job before every one of the statements. You will sleep better that night. You see, there's something hidden in what I'm saying to you now. When she says, I like my job, she's really saying, I'm grateful for my job. And of all of the emotions we can have, according to Hans Selye, the #1 stress specialist in America, the healthiest of all human emotions is gratitude. I said, you go down that list. I like my job. I love my job, rather. That is a way of gratitude. You'll sleep better the first night. Tomorrow morning, when you get up, get back in front of the mirror just before you go to work. Get back in front of the mirror and repeat the process again with excitement and enthusiasm. I love my job because, and take the list with you. Because the reality is, you see, you will have started to change from a fault finder to a good finder. Some people do really find fault like there's a reward for it. They really do. Take the list with you, and you will be able to add to that list, absolutely guaranteed. Do this every morning and every night, and you will have an astonishing recovery from this advanced case of stinking thinking. Now, I didn't say that to her, but I'm saying it to you. That's what it was. It was an advanced case of stinking thinking. Well, 6 weeks later, I was back in Birmingham, Alabama. I was doing a follow-up sales seminar. Now, the lady was not in sales, but she had been listening to my tapes. She had been listening to Automobile University, and she had discovered that everybody sells. Everybody who will ever hear this is in selling. Whether you're a school teacher, a civil service worker, a military personnel, an executive secretary, it doesn't make any difference. What you do, you sell every day of your life. There she was at the sales seminar, seated on the front row, grinning so wide she could have eaten a banana sideways. I'm telling you, you're talking about somebody that was excited. She was turned on. I said, well, how you done? She grinned even more broadly and said, Mr. Ziegler, I'm doing wonderfully well, and thank you for asking. She said, you cannot believe how much those people down there have changed. I got a lid on the line, folks. You're not going to change anybody else till you change you. Everything really does begin with you. Now, you see, the unfortunate thing, this lady had been raised in a very negative environment. First, her parents had told her that she'd never amount to anything. They had said, you know, you're always late, you're always sloppy. Why can't you be like your brother or your sister or whatever? When she got married, her husband had continued it, and so her self-talk had become completely negative. Everything that she said about herself was negative. Like Dad said, I'll never amount to anything. Or like my husband says, I can't do anything right. But when she started changing the input, then some radical change.
What's up, Fire Nation? Another bonus episode coming your way. This one was a great chat. I had a lot of fun with Terry Wilson. Terry is a serial entrepreneur who offers entrepreneurs and solopreneurs the tools, training, and technology needed to earn and enjoy more. For the past 13 years, he's helped thousands of hungry individuals discover their thing, develop the skills to do it, and be given a strategy to deliver it to market and produce value. Terry has a weekly podcast that can be heard on iTunes, Stitcher, and at terrywilson3.com. He also wrote a book called You Are Worth More, which you can check out at youareworthmorebook.com. We have a lot of fun in this episode, Fire Nation. I truly hope you enjoy. It's hard. It is hard work to achieve uncommon success. But you know what else is hard, Terry? Being broke.
You better believe that.
Living paycheck to paycheck, not being able to support your loved ones, not being able to support yourself, not being able to get up in the morning and do something that you want to do, but doing something you have to do. That's hard too. So Terry, my call to action for everybody here is choose your hard. Like back in 2012, it was hard. I spent 32 years of my life doing hard work and making the wrong decision on choosing my hard. I was going down the wrong path. I wasn't having any success. But then I flipped it and I said, you know what? Building this business, Entrepreneurs on Fire, it's going to be hard work. But the alternative is hard too. So I choose the hard of building a life of freedom, of building a life of choice, of building a life of uncommon success. And that's my call to action to everybody hearing our voices today. Choose your hard.
Choose your hard. Boy, I love that. You know, because there's a high cost of low living. And sometimes we think that, you know, we're just going to get out of this easy by taking the path of least resistance. And boy, sometimes the end of that path is just a tiger. I'm telling you, brother, I'm telling you.
Identify your big idea. Not be a weak, pale imitation of somebody else's big idea, which most people do. They're like, oh, look at what Terry's doing. He's so successful. Look what John's doing. I'll just copy them. And then you wonder why you fail, because you're a weak, pale imitation of those people and you will never win as a result. You need to come up with your big idea, your zone of fire, and wake up every day on fire, living that life. That is the life that you deserve. Because what at the end of the day do we really want? Freedom. The ability to wake up and do what we want, where we want to do it, with whom we want to do it with. If you have those three things, what more is there in life? And you can give yourself that gift. Just take it.
Which is identifying, why are you here? You know, I like to say it this way. You're not a cosmic accident. You didn't show up on planet Earth because lightning struck a mud puddle billions of years later and you crawled out. You're a significant person with a significant reason for being here. There's a reason for you to be here. And once you identify that big idea, as John just said it, life becomes, oh my gosh, becomes unimaginable. Give us another. Go ahead.
Just on that point real quick. I mean, I think it's so key for people to understand this, like what Terry is just sharing. There is so much wisdom out there in this world, but there's also so much noise and it's chaotic. And sometimes it's so hard to really cut through all of this and to really get to the meat and potatoes, to really get down to what matters.
Does anyone know Terry's story, what Terry did?
I do.
So Terry sold musical instruments, sold pianos, right? And what was it? Was it 9/11 that created the problem?
Yeah.
9/11 creates a problem. Nobody wants to go. There's no money in town anymore. It's a brick and mortar store. Some woman comes up to him in church, some older woman, and she's like, I was thinking about your problem, and the Lord told me you should sell them on the computer. Sell your pianos on the computer. And Terry's like, that's a great idea. I got to get out of here because you're crazy. So, of course, he does it in that sweet way where he says, oh, bless your heart. And
Bless your
he
heart.
thinks about it. And then he's like, you know, he told me about the story about, you know, the guy, it's a flood and, you know, you should get out. No, the Lord's going to save me. And at the end, he goes to God and says, why didn't you save me? He's like, I did. You know, I tried. I sent you the news report. I sent you a helicopter. You know. So Terry takes that and he's like, God's telling me what to do here, right? So that was the message. I should sell these things online. His first thought when the woman tells him that is, how am I gonna, because she said her grandson sold CDs.
On eBay.
Yeah, Terry's like, how am I, you could just put them, I can't put a stamp on a piano. This is crazy.
Drop it in the mailbox.
Yeah, so the next day, right? The next day he starts sells them out in a week. So he doesn't think about, he doesn't latch on to his idea of I can't ship these things cheaply, right? He just goes past that. He goes, well, what's my first solution? My first solution is I got to sell these things. That's all he's thinking about. He sells out his whole inventory in a week. Then the problem comes to him. How do I get rid of these things? I've now sold them. How do I deliver them? So what would you guys have done?
Hire a U-Haul and drive them out there.
Yeah, that's what Terry did. Terry got a truck and just was like, well, I'm going to take my brother-in-law. We're going to go around the country. We're going everywhere. And he delivered pianos for 2 weeks. That's amazing. And then, then he's like, oh, and the next thing is I talked to some.
Welcome to TerryWilson3.com, home of TW3. Are you ready to take your money, business, and life to the next level? You are worth more, and you're about to hear how and why. So buckle up and listen up as we journey to the next level. Please welcome your guys to reach your goals, the TW3 family.
Here's your host, Reagan Wilson.
Hey, everybody. This is the TW3 podcast. You are listening to episode 516. Today's idea, or at least our
517.
517. We literally talked about it beforehand, too. It's 517. We're talking about ways that you can become a content creator, different ideas or different strategies you can take to, putting content out there, sort of like Terry does here at the studio.
Yeah. It's one of those things when you tell people you need to be blogging, you need to have some sort of social media presence. All of that is putting a demand on you to create specifically content, well, no matter what format. Obviously, I'm not a writer. I get in trouble when I try to write too much because of my proclivities for...
You're just not grammatical. You are a writer. We're similar in that we like words.
I like words and all that. I love thought. I love
you
idea.
are a writer, but you're just not grammatical.
I'm not disciplined.
Sure.
That's the problem. I'm not disciplined to take the time and proof it. And more importantly, and I don't know if I've got such a spelling issue as I just got a...
you got a typo issue.
And I just won't stop. And
I blame your Mac.
Yeah, well, yeah. But it is, to get your brand out there, I cannot advocate another strategy more than creating content because it does multiple things. To me, it doesn't make you a salesy. It makes you more of a brand. Instead of just being out there pitching all the time, hey, try this peel-through lotion or potion, or try this new insurance, or try, if you're looking for a home, or, if you need legal services. A friend of mine that we graduated together, he's a great attorney, an absolutely incredible attorney, has won awards, local here. I noticed on a lot of his social media channels, but specifically LinkedIn, he's putting out a ton of just free advice and content. And I said, that is just brilliant, because anytime someone needs an attorney for specific things in areas that he's good at and what he does, well, who are you going to think about?
We talked about it a little bit on the training last night for the ELT members, or not last night, it would have been
last Wednesday.
Yeah, it's been a long week. I'm sorry. But yeah, no. So when we had the training, one of the things that you had mentioned, which is good, is a better sales approach for most people is just being genuine.
Yeah, just be a human.
Yeah, people can pick up on the fact that, you're trying to sell them something, at least most of the time. I know I can if somebody's talking
Well,
to me.
obviously we are, but
yeah,
the give and take is, but more importantly, we want to earn the right to sell you something.
Right. And when you're creating content, all you're doing is adding validity to what you do. If you're a lawyer, or if you're, like us in the recruiting space, whatever it is, if you're spending that time making content going, this is also not just what I do for a living, but this is what I enjoy. This is what I study. This is what I'm passionate about. People care. People
care.
He likes that. He understands that. They trust. You build that trust. So yeah.
Yeah. And the other thing, I think a big pushback that I get from a lot of people, well, not a pushback, but a hesitancy, what causes them to just sort of, think about it and really not go full force with creating content is they're scared, well, what will people think? What if people don't like me? What if, it comes across as, whatever, because I'll talk to people a lot about podcasting because I love podcasting. I love creating videos like we do because I think it's just so powerful. Number one, you get a lot, and people don't get this. Print is great. Love print. But when you can hear the actual voice of the author, there's something on a subconscious level that you're either going to really become attracted to that person, or you're going to say, they're not my vibe. But I love it because it really does attract your best audience to you.
Yeah. What piece of advice would you give for people that are a little bit worried about, oh, well, what if people don't like what I'm saying? Or what if they have a different opinion than what I have on these areas?
Well, I think, honestly, you need to reframe it in your mind as not a personal rejection, but a business utility that is serving you.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, if someone buys a product, good, or service from me, and not because I'm trying to, but they come in under false pretense. In other words, their expectations are this. They feel like I am going to provide this, not because of something I said, just because of a feeling they get, because of what they read into a piece of content or something. I find that if I'm just as big of a butthole on the front end as I would be on the back end, then people know what they're getting. And
Yeah.
I'm polite, but I am also, definitive on this is what I do, this is what I don't do. I'm telling you on the front end. So if you're thinking on the back end, it's going to change. If I'm telling you this before you gave me money,
Yeah.
what do you think I'm going to do after? And I don't mean to be so blunt.
Yep.
But it's just business, and so many times, especially in the space that we operate, where people, their minds, and it's in any business, but people coming from all these different backgrounds, all these different experiences, one word or phrase means one thing to one person, it means something completely different to another person. And I feel like when you create content and you're constantly creating content, what happens is whether you like it or not, your attitude towards certain things starts seeping out.
Yep.
And people pick up on it. And that's either going to be a magnet to you or a magnet that pushes. It's either going to push or pull.
And this is piggybacking off what you're saying. But the other thing is, too, when you're being genuine, you're being yourself, you're talking about the topics you like or whatever it is, when people are starting to pick up on, what your feelings about a certain topic, or maybe they just disagree with, an idea that you hold.
Yeah.
It's... In the real world, we walk around and you don't want to be friends with everybody. At least
No.
I know there's certain personality types.
It's
that
not
do.
healthy to.
But to be healthy, exactly, you
Yeah.
can't be friends with everybody. There's certain people that after having a conversation with them, you have to be, and it's okay to realize, I don't like this person. I don't like the ideas you hold. And even if it's from them to you or you to them, that's okay. It's okay to have that separation and that knowledge. In a business sense, it's perfect for you.
Yes.
As long as you're being honest, the real slippery slope, I think, would be to start putting content out there that you don't necessarily agree with, but putting up this image.
Yes.
There's a lot of topics I would never get up and talk about, especially passionately, because I don't know about it. And if I start acting like I have some knowledge on it, the people that have the knowledge, the people that can discern what I'm saying from what's true, what's not, you're going to come out as a charlatan, as a fake.
Well,
a fraud.
yeah, because the polite way, I guess, to say it is your branding is incongruent.
You're lying. That's not you.
It's just not you. You're putting on this, and that's why we get this pushback from some and have over the years. I might be a little too down home. I might be a little just too raw. I might be, but at the end of the day, that's who I am.
Yeah.
And so.
Well, we've gotten comments as well about, because especially just in the family setting, because this is a little bit of a family podcast. If you guys haven't picked up on that.
Yeah.
It's our sense of humor. We've gotten a lot of praise, and rightfully so, we've gotten some backlash, and that both are okay.
And both are okay.
But the thing is, and I know for us, in a personal setting, when we walk around and we make a joke to somebody, or we're taking things kind of lightly, even if it's a heavy topic, the way we deal with a lot of stuff is you got to have a sense of humor, because that's how life is. It's just
you're either going to laugh or cry about it.
When we come up across people that don't laugh and they take it super seriously and they kind of get butthurt, I know our personal instinct is like, dude, we're not going to be good friends.
We're not for you.
Like, we operate differently.
Yeah, we're not your vibe.
We're staying true, though.
Yeah.
Nothing we do here is different when we leave this room. We're the same people.
Absolutely.
And that's why we've attracted the audience that we have.
I think so too, and I think it's served us well. And so if you're out there and you're a business owner, it really doesn't matter what kind of business you're in, whether you want to be an online business coach like this, or you want to be a restaurant owner or a lawyer or a doctor. I'm telling you, the best thing that you can do for your brand and for your brand awareness and to attract clients that you actually enjoy and want to work with is put your brand out there. just put it out there, and I'm telling you, it will serve you so well. So if you've got some sort of hesitancy or, this whole thing of, I don't want to get too raw, too real, too exposed because I know I've got a strong, and you could have the most strong, awkward, repelling type of personality there is, but I'm telling you, there's an
audience for it.
There is an audience for every personality type.
Yeah.
And a friend of mine that's no longer in the restaurant business, but you know him. He used to have a restaurant on Main Street right beside us. And for years, people would ask him why he got so political on things. Because he was one of those, you knew where he stood. He put cardboard cutouts of candidates at the time, holding up a chain with someone else like they were being arrested. No, I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah.
He was just. Yeah.
There's a popular phrase around 2016.
About locking something or doing something. Someone. And so but I know he got tremendous pushback and hate on social media, locally in the community, because quite frankly, even if that particular ideology wasn't 40% of the representation, that was a strong, loud, vocal, and he was actually in a part of the community that population would live more because of the, just where it was at.
Yeah.
He didn't care. And the more people hated on him and the more flack he got, the more emboldened his particular side got. And they were I know people that ate there for lunch 5 days a week to support, so so controversy can be that's not my vibe, because fighting and arguing and fussing over things emotionally wears me down and puts me in a headspace that I'm not as productive. It doesn't make that the way I feel about certain issues and topics I'm any less passionate. I'm very passionate about those things, and I try to study them out. I try to put myself in areas that it's being challenged. But at the end of the day, that's one area I just don't want to fight about. It just wears on me. That's not saying it's wrong for others, because I know one of our points is going to be about that. But I pick areas that I can have fun with, and not areas that just cause me to get in the wrong headspace.
Yeah, and you do a good job as well of just speaking to what you know.
Because I'm not going to just study I'm not going to what that Bill Burr bit was. I'm going to go out to I'mRight.com and get all my talking points and then come back.
It's
boring to me now.
Yeah, I think at the start of social media, it was really cool to be like, here are all my opinions, here's everything I believe, I've thought. But at this point,
shut up.
Yeah, like if you're not going, maybe I don't know everything, and I can just. At least this is how I felt, and I'm sure other people feel differently, but like I get those reminders from Facebook. I hate that they have it. It's those reminders of like things you posted in the past. And then it'll give you a reminder, even though it's not even like controversial takes or politics or anything, just a regular post.
Well, it's like a snapshot of your life.
It's like, man, I thought that at one point, or that's how I would have communicated that. Like, you're always growing. So
hopefully.
Well, yeah. So a good caveat when you're doing all that is if you can, there are certain opinions that I've had for years, LeBron, and I can still like have a good conversation about it or just joke around with people about it, because it's like, it's something I know. It's something that's fun, That's the thing. If I'm going to get in tug of wars and fuss, I don't mind fighting over LeBron. I don't mind fighting over who's the greatest band of all time. I don't mind fighting over sports. But when it comes to politics and religion, it is just so close to the core of who a person is, because that's their identity. The only person I genuinely debate that stuff with is you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
we've even talked about starting a podcast, just us talking like we normally do.
Right, because
get it away from business.
Exactly.
And all that. Yeah. So anyway, well, guys, when we get back right after this, what happened there?
You press buttons.
I press buttons. Why am I doing that? When we get back, we're going to open up. There's 16 ways I think you can generate stellar content. And these 16 ways of creating content I think is really going to help you. But before we get to the break, I want to remind you, April 30th, Reagan and I is in Orlando, Florida. May 18th, we're in Spartanburg, South Carolina. And June 11th, we're in Houston, Texas. September 13th, we're in San Antonio, Texas. So if you want to come out and come to one of these conferences, you're going to get over $5,000 in value for only $100. Try out, see how it works for your business, meet us, get trained. Everything you need to take your money, business, and life next level is going to be right there, there to help you. And we're there to help you with our host in that city. And we hope we can see you. We'll be back right after this.
Here are some reviews of members who are using the brand new TW3 app.
Well, you kind of outdid yourself on this application. Man, there are some nice bells and whistles in here. I mean, this thing is able to do and function in ways that combine a number of different applications together and seamlessly communicate. It's integrated. If you look at my app, you'll say, here's an example of somebody that just got in here and started playing around. No, it's fun, man. It is a fantastic application. And, you know, the funnels, the tracking system, you know, the opportunity, the CRM is all, I love it. It's beautiful. And once, you know, it just takes some time. And then once you do it over and over again, it becomes easier, you know, so the more time you spend working at it, the easier it gets.
To harness the power of the new TW3 app, go to TerryWilson3.com today or call, text, or email your authorized TW3 member.
Chapter 1. The 4 words that changed everything. Another day, another dollar. I just clocked in and was super excited. I finally felt like an adult. For the first time in my life, I was working for someone that wasn't a family member.
Hi, I'm Haven, and Terry Wilson's my dad. And the reason why I think I like this is it teaches me not only to earn money and work when I get older, how to earn it. It also teaches me how my dad used to live in the past, what he did, what was his first job, the reason why he came into this podcast sphere. So that's why I think I like his podcast and this audiobook.
Get the audio version of You Are Worth More at coachwithtw3.com. That's coachwithtw3.com. Get the first 2 chapters for free. All right. We are back from the break. And just to remind you again, that's April 30th. Reagan and I is in Orlando, Florida. May 18th, we're in Spartanburg, South Carolina. June 11th, we're in Houston, Texas. September 13th, we're in San Antonio, Texas. And we've got other cities and other dates that's coming out. To check out when we're going to be in your area, go over to TerryWilson3.com. Just click on the 2022 Business Growth Conference there tab, and you'll see where we're going to be. But listen, Reagan, they're getting $5,000 in value. They're getting a CRM, a whole marketing system and platform. They're getting leads loaded up. They're having a 1-day intensive training on how to use these tools for their specific industry. Mm-hmm. And then they get to take all of that knowledge and all of that intensive training and all those tools and the leads that we've already loaded up for them, and they get to use it after we leave for a trial period, just to prove to them, you need this.
Yep.
You will want this.
Yep.
And we're even going to be making some attractive offers there at the conference to help them get going if they want to. So 16 ways to create stellar content. Now, I don't know this platform as well as you and River and the younger generation does, but the first one is finding trending topics on Reddit. So for those old fuddy-duddies like me, explain, what is Reddit? How does it work? How do you use it?
Reddit is a site from 2011, I think, is when it was launched. It might be a little bit earlier. Essentially, it's a forum. If you're familiar with like older forums in the early 2000s, it's pretty much that.
It's very rudimentary as far as its layout and look. It looks a lot like Craigslist to me.
It does. They've updated it a little bit. It's actually now you can pick cards and look at pictures and stuff. It's pretty cool. But essentially, the whole idea is everybody's got an interest in something. What if you could come around and build a community based on these specific topics, and then people could share their articles, videos, memes, whatever it is about that certain topic. You can find anything from a keto diet to cross country running to video games to a very specific video game, to music, to a band, literally just about any topic you can think of.
Yeah.
Probably a subreddit for it.
Yeah.
Part of that, though, is they filter it similar to how Facebook and Twitter would, and they go, what's popular? What's the most upvoted thing?
So it bumps up. So whatever's trending there is going to be what's people are thinking about.
And so you could imagine, I don't remember the date, but the day after the Oscars with the Will Smith thing.
Yeah.
That was definitely top of the post in like 5 or 6 different subreddits,
Yeah. And a subreddit is like a category.
Right. It's like a category, or it's a specific space on Reddit.
So there might be a sports, business.
So think of it this way, where you go to Facebook, right?
Yeah.
And you can follow a page.
Yeah.
Like let's say you follow Chef Boyardee.
Yeah.
And they post their stuff, right? Well, on Reddit, you could go to Chef Boyardee, the subreddit, but what you're probably going to get is just the content from the people posting about Chef Boyardee. So they'll post the articles. So it's really more about community building. It's not so much of the top-down level, more of the bottom-up.
Bottom-up. Yeah. Okay. So it would make a great metric to go by as far as what people are thinking about, talking about. So when you want to create content, you could just be reacting to this and then putting it in the context of your business.
Absolutely. There's a lot of great, granted, everything with a grain of salt, and also, pay attention to the optics, because every site that you go to is going to have a leaning. And I can tell you now, Reddit, it's a younger community. Everybody leans left. So
is there a social media out there that does lean right?
I think Trump's trying to build it. I don't know. No, but for this one in particular, it's a little bit more like Twitter. So if you're coming in there for the info you're wanting is maybe politics, just be wary that hey, most of these people lean very, very left. So and
it doesn't seem very business friendly. The ones, it seems like they're not going to be pro entrepreneurs. So for my entrepreneurs out there, I would use it like this, just to see what's in that zeitgeist, the mindset of everybody.
Yes. Yeah.
And then I would take that and extrapolate my own spin on something.
I wouldn't say it's anti-business, because it's a cool thing about Reddit. If the popular trending topics of Reddit would be, something that's anti-real estate, well, I guarantee you can go to the real estate subreddit with its 20,000, 30,000 members, and they're going to be real estate agents that don't care about how the popular.
So it's not so.
Yeah, if you can find your field, and a lot of times you can find some really good knowledge from people in the field. Recently went to go do a thing that's very out of my comfort zone. I had to do a little bit of a shadowing in a field that I'm not comfortable with, don't know anything about it. I was able to visit the subreddit and find a lot of really good questions on what I should be asking, and a lot of dumb questions that I shouldn't be asking that I wouldn't even think of. Oh yeah, I probably shouldn't be asking this because it's a waste of their time.
Right.
And so it's a good way to vary your gauge.
Yeah, and a good activity for you guys to make this. Let's drill this down just to a practical, actionable thing that you can do. Reagan just brought up, the Oscars slap.
Sure.
That happened over a week ago now, almost 2 weeks ago, and it's still being talked about. Well, how would I, as a business owner, use that? So here's what I would do. I would talk about your brand being lost with one slap. And I would go right into branding yourself, understanding who you are, understanding how your audience perceives you, and staying congruent with the brand you built. And then I would spin off of how he just ruined his brand in just a moment of less than a minute.
Yeah.
He took years of all the things he built, and now you will never for the rest of your life be able to Google Will Smith without seeing that meme. It doesn't matter what, everything that happened prior, the music, the building of that show, and all of this stuff that he's done. And, you know, it looks like, you know, there's disciplinary things that's coming out. Not the point.
Right.
1 minute threw away a lifetime of building a brand.
Yep.
And so that's how I would spin it. If I was my buddy there's an attorney, well, boom. Here's all the things you can talk about the law and what it does and how it's applicable and why, you know, he could even get into, you know, is this privileged because an average person, this is what the state law here would have done regardless of who you are. And is it being applied? You know, there's all kinds of ways that could go into. I could think of all kinds. If you're a dentist, you know, has your teeth been slapped around? I mean, you know what I'm saying? But you could just, so when you guys hear us talk about, you could go over to see what, there is a way to frame just about every.
And the example we're using is something that everybody was talking about. So, you know, that's a good way to get the large clicks, right? Because everybody kind of knows about the Will Smith thing.
Right.
But another good thing that you can use Reddit or some other sites, you know, but Reddit is what we're talking about. You can go to those subreddits and you can see what's popular now in those specific subreddits. And so while Will Smith may be popular around the world because he smacked somebody, which was very funny, and if you didn't think it was funny, you're silly. It was hilarious. I mean, come on, it's hilarious. But if we were in dentistry, if we were in real estate, you know, keto, let's take keto for an example. I can go to the keto subreddit. I can see the top post for this week. Oh, we're talking about a new article posted by the, you know, medical journal talking about the side effects for long-term keto when it comes to this, or the positive benefits from it. So you can find those trending topics in the field that you're already speaking about. You know, to borrow from you and Cliff Ravenscraft, Chris Ravenscraft.
Cliff. Ravens.
Yeah, I'm struggling.
Sorry, Cliff.
It's been a long day. I apologize.
That's all right.
But yeah, you can stay in your lane.
Yeah. It helps you stay in your lane. Well, number 2, look for easy topics with SEO potential. Look for easy topics with SEO potential. Now, SEO, for those that are new to online marketing and all of that, is search engine optimization. And there's 2 words you can put just about in front of any sentence, and it will help your SEO. How to fill in the blank. You know, that is a big one that you can, because Google, people are always searching for how to, and then boom. So be thinking of that. That's a great way. And then in topics, you know, of course you can use social media as a metric to see what topics are out there is hot. What you could do, if I'm in a particular industry or space, you know, how to alleviate this toothache, or how to alleviate this, or how to, whatever product, good, or service that my product solves, whatever problem my product, good, or service solves, I should say, then I've got to think like the consumer. You know, in our space, we're helping people that are in brick and mortar business to add, you know, remote components to their business. We're showing them how to use a lot of online and text and email and voice marketing to drive traffic to the traditional businesses. So, you know, I'm in the headspace of business owners. And what is a business owner? How to get cheap leads, how to, you know, generate more traffic to my store, how to retain more business, how, you know, all of these things that I'm going to be thinking in that space, and I'm going to be using keywords that a business owner would use.
I saw a really good one for this exact example yesterday, and it was I wish I could remember their channel because it was really smart, but it's a very small podcast, and they release these YouTube clips. They're about 3 or 4 minutes long, but they're doing referral marketing.
Yeah.
But their little podcast is how to work from home, make $19 an hour. And every week they upload one, and they've only got, I think they just got like 30,000 subscribers. Like, it's very new. Like, people are just now kind of catching on. But all they were doing was putting their RMP, and they're using SEO searching for Google. It says how to work from home, making this much an hour. People are going to their videos, and every week they've got new, you know, affiliate links that they can provide.
Yep.
And you're seeing the content. Everybody's very excited that, hey, you know, this job's paying $20 an hour. I can work from home. And they're just posting these things out and able to make, you know, their commission. I thought it was brilliant because it's very quick, you know, very easy. It's like they pay this is what's required. Go to this link, and it was catching on. I was like, yeah, that's smart.
Well, that honestly, that's one of the things we've talked about in some of our elite trainings. You could take just a few RMPs. That's all you want to do. Build content just around that.
Yeah, we've talked about it forever, but to see, and I don't think we've ever worked with these people, but just to watch their posts, like, they're doing it right.
Yeah.
They're doing it smart.
They're doing it the right way. I love it. Number 3, have a contrarian take on a popular opinion. Have a contrarian. Now, those are dangerous waters.
Yeah, be careful with that.
You got to be careful. But I do think there's a way to do things tongue in cheek.
Sure.
I love satire, so I don't mind being, if I wasn't in this business podcast, because you know my personality, I've got all kinds of angles I could probably take on some things if I was doing another channel, doing something else. Because I could have been the voice for Will Smith. This is why Will should have done that and done more.
I did have,
not that I believe that, but
sure.
just to take the opposite side, just to rouse.
It works. I mean, you think about it, I did it with my roommate because I thought it was funny. After the Will Smith thing, I was like, okay, right, bad, don't smack, bad. But
that's the Louis C.K.
But think about this. I guarantee no one's going to make any alopecia jokes about Jada anymore. That's all I'm saying. Like, not to his face at least. So, problem solved.
Yeah, the only problem is good luck getting another comedian come to that.
Well, staying employed's pretty tough. But
yeah, give and take. Give and take.
There's...
Number 4, host a virtual lunch for your customers. Host a virtual lunch for your customers. It's
a picture of nachos.
Yeah, here's some nachos. I wished you was here to have them. But there's a great way that, while people are taking their lunch break, to pop in on a Zoom thing and ask them, what problems are you guys dealing with in this space that we can create some content and training around to help. I mean, that's always a great way of doing stuff. Swipe popular headlines framework. And there is an art to going out there and seeing how people create a headline. And there's a fine line. I don't ever want to get into clickbait, because how many times have you saw a video or saw something and you click on it and had nothing to do, or it was so weak, and then it just frustrates your audience. So you have to be careful with that.
Yeah.
But there's a way of being compelling and truthful at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
But there is an art to it.
There is. One of my favorite YouTube channels is it's a channel called Max Tuning. It's a very small channel.
Yeah.
It's a smaller channel. He's an entrepreneur, but he always does clickbait. Always. But part of what I love is when you watch it, he literally makes fun of you for clicking it. He's like, you really thought I was...
Do you think I'm really going to set my...
So, if you're going to do a little bit of clickbait, the way to do it is pretty smart. He was tongue-in-cheek, and he's like, yeah, of course I didn't do that. You should know that by reading this. And it's kind of funny.
I am not going to set my shoes on fire.
Right. He's like, I just set my new car on fire. He's like, why would I do that? That's dumb.
That is stupid. Number 6, ask the customer success and sales team. In other words, success stories for us is probably some of our strongest content.
For sure.
There's one thing for, me to say, this is, how I've been able to do things in business and help here and do this. But when you see clients and their success story and other, people and their success story, that really, really sells, and it makes for great, great content. And one of the things that we've always told our clients, that we've got clients that come on and we've got a sales team that we've built over the years. And if a new salesperson comes to TW3 that we've recruited and brought onto our team to help sell our products, goods, and services, one of the things they'll say is, I'm just new. I mean, they're going to ask me, this or that. I was like, you don't tell your story. It's not about you right now. It's about the brand and the products. And you can point to, and we've got a whole inventory over the last 14 years of people and customers and clients we've helped, in a who's who the list that we've been able to work with. You've got all of that. And you say, it's not about, you're not buying me, you're buying the product. And this is what the product and the service and the training is going to be able to do for you. And so you just pivot. You don't allow them to make it about, on your shoulders of whether they're going to be able to rise or fall, but you put it on the product. And so that's a great way of building content and even selling. Number 7, check the people, also ask results. That's a great one.
Yeah, that's a really good one. That one's probably super underutilized, but it's a great way to just figure out, well, they're in this space, what else are they looking up? And then you can kind of pivot your marketing or your titles or whatever it is, your content, based on, if you didn't get great results from maybe one video or one podcast you posted in this field, well, look at that field, look at what else they search for while they're in that field. Maybe there's more people in this other topic that you could also relate to. You're just fishing out of the wrong pond, you know?
Right. And that's great stuff. Number 8, look for pain points in case studies. Look for pain points in case studies. That goes back to, I understand certain industries, and so every piece of content I try to create is going to be, how to sell more term life insurance, how to sell more whole life insurance, how to recruit the right sales team, how to build, all of the things that I'm going to, because people that come from my background, that's the pain points.
Yep.
So I'm constantly trying how to get, leads for less than, 10 cents a lead, those things, because, my people, the people that understand, direct sales and direct marketing and all that, they're tired of spending $25, $50 per lead.
Well, you think about it, what we do is we're a business solution.
Yes.
And so in our market, being able to solve other people's problems is how we stay in business. That's the reason that we're even a thing. And if you're in that similar space where you're a solution for something, maybe it's not business, but anything.
Yeah.
Maybe you're in the fitness industry.
Right.
You can speak to, well, I can tell you, don't eat Doritos at 11 p.m. That's what I would do. Be like, here was my problem. I kept buying taquitos and I'd eat the whole box. It's like, but
turns out you can't do that.
You can't keep doing that.
It's a shame you can't, though. And a little break from this for a second, but the leaderboard at the gym is about to kill me. I'm just going to say.
Where are you at? You were 7.
Yeah, I'm back up to 7. I lost the top 10 spot because a month it switches over in the top 10.
Yeah.
And so every month it starts over, and I wasn't even placing in the top 10. So today I go in and I have a personal record of most calories burned in one setting. I burned 1,789 calories. And
that's a lot.
I was on that treadmill for an hour and 45 minutes. But I was like, I am getting back in the top 10 or I will die. One or the other. But I am not getting off this thing. And so afterwards, Reagan, it looked like someone had taken 2 gallons of water and just poured it all over that treadmill. And I went in and told the gym owner, Bert, later, I said, y'all got to take that leaderboard down. It's going to kill me. He goes, that's what it's for. I said, yeah, but I can't handle it. I'm just so freaking competitive.
No, you don't understand. I'm competitive. I'll die.
I'll kill myself, and it'll be on your... It's death by suicide, and it's your fault.
How long was your workout supposed to be?
I'm only supposed to do an hour a day.
Did 2 hours today.
I did nearly 2 hours.
You ate right.
Yeah, I'm crazy. Number 9, check your competitors' paid keywords. Big one. Because that's going to help you understand, where they're putting their money and where they think the audience is, and you'll be able to pivot from that. And a lot of times I have used competitors as my keyword, because I know, in other words, there's going to be people looking more for John Lee Dumas than they are Terry Wilson. He's going to be Googled more. So I've used that. I have used other folks that I feel like, and I'm real strategic, like, for instance, I know my market, and I know a lot of my market is not just Christian, but evangelical Christian, and not just evangelical Christian, but maybe even Southern. And so I know my people, and I know if they're looking for management advice, leadership advice, if they're looking in their business, they are that's who they are.
Right.
But they're in the space for looking for. Then I know the thought leaders in business for those folks. So I am getting keywords that's going to put me in front of people that may not even be looking for me. So you got to think strategically like that, because I know that's the people that I want to work with, because that's who I am.
And an alternative title for this entire podcast or episode is knowing your market.
Yeah.
If you really think about it, that's
what we're talking about.
It's how to learn your market. Yeah.
Yeah, but because if you want to create content that is going to be compelling, you got to know your market.
Yeah.
Because I know some of my content, you put it in front of the wrong audience, they're either going to get offended,
right?
They're going to laugh.
Maybe both.
Maybe both. And I agree with them.
And you know what? They're right.
And they're right. Number 10, research who your customers compare you to.
That's a big one. That's a really big one, because once you know who they're looking at elsewhere, who they think you are like, you can start to establish what your benefits and the cons are of your business. For us, there's a lot of other CRMs out there.
Sure.
And so it took us and we've said it before, but the value is not just in the tools that we provide. You can go to Salesforce. You can go to any of these other companies. You can get a CRM. The thing that we provide is the training, the support, that step through that weekly training, these podcasts, going, what's your name? What's your business? Let's figure out how to work it. These conferences.
Right.
The reason that we do all of these things as well is because we understand what our competition is, and we understand how we can, we're a smaller scale.
Right.
We are. There's things that we can do.
We're not Salesforce.
They literally can't do it because they're not us.
We're taking advantage of our size.
Yep.
We understand there's pros and cons to being at this size. There's pros and cons to being at Salesforce's size. And so, Salesforce is going to be able to beat us on the scale side.
Yep.
But where they can't beat us is on the service side.
Yep.
And so, just to break that down, what Reagan's talking about too, there's one thing to technically know how to use a certain component like a CRM or a texting system or an email system or all that. That's great. There's another level of, this is technically how I use it, but this is how I would use it and apply it for my specific business and give a strategy and build a system around those strategies. That's where we shine, I believe. Because quite frankly, that's what we're doing. And so all we're doing is saying, here's how we're using it for recruiting talent. Here's how we're using it for generating leads to sell something to. Here's how we're doing it to manage. Here's how we even use our tools to set up our support system. When we have clients that need support from us, how do they get support from us? Through using our tools.
Yep.
So
and that's something that's not, you can see it in bigger businesses too, as a dumb example, but kind of funny. There was a meme for a little bit there where everybody was making chicken sandwiches for some reason. There's a reason that they were doing that.
Yes.
And it's because Chick-fil-A was doing crazy in sales. That's a lot.
And everybody wanted a piece of that action.
Everybody wanted to be Chick-fil-A. And so you got Popeyes, you got KFC, all these people.
But none of them being able to scratch it. And I'll tell you, I think it has a lot to do with the same thing we do. It's about knowing your audience, knowing your brand. And even though there might have some people in it that's incongruent with the overarching brand that was started,
sure,
the brand still overshadows that.
The brand still does it right.
The brand still does it right. And so it's good for them for that. Number 11, recall experiences to document. Recall experiences. And of course, we do that all the time. I talk about sales experiences I've had. We talk about membership experiences we've had. We talk about conferences that we've had.
We used to do Lindsay used to read the monthly, the earning report, I think is what we had.
Income report. We don't do that anymore just because it can be extrapolated in way too many different ways. And so I just got tired of,
we knew what we wanted it to mean, but we could also see how it's like,
well, it goes
it's an optics thing.
It's an optics thing. And I didn't appreciate this at the time, but the more and more I got into psychology and really just doing some self-study for the Myers-Briggs, because I had to do the CE stuff to keep my Myers-Briggs credentials up. And of course, I love Jordan Peterson, so I'm consuming a ton of stuff of him. And of course, Myers-Briggs is based on Carl Jung's studies mostly, and some of Carl Rogers' stuff. But I'm studying Rogers, Jung, and some of these other guys. And I'm studying some modern people, and there's this one prevailing thought about the way people interpret certain things. And I can say this, I can't break it down because this isn't what this podcast is for, but they say, if you suffer from depression, get off social media. All it will do is make you more depressed. It just will. I mean, there case study after case study, the literature on it is just, it's not even refutable at this point. And it's just,
it makes sense, yeah, absolutely.
It's just, if you are depressed,
it's a dopamine ADHD machine that makes
sense. It's the way a depressed mind interprets information is the way it's working. And one of the problems is the way you perceive good news in people. Because what is social media? Hey, we're at vacation, or hey, we're doing this, we're having a lot of people.
It's a front.
Or it might not even be a front. Like when I post things on social media, I'm not posting how I just stumped my toe and, I've got this pain. I mean,
I see what you're saying.
I'm not, some people, it's not that I'm trying to be insincere, but I don't use social media to air out my grievances or my pains or what. It doesn't mean I don't have it.
You've got a wife, pastor, and counselor for that.
Yes. Yeah. All I'm doing is celebrating life. Here's some things I'm doing. Here's some things I'm enjoying. And the wrong mindset interprets that as, well, they're doing all, and then what's wrong with me? Because they don't see but about half my life. They don't see the other half, or they don't see the other half of other people's life. Now, there's some people that invert that. All they post is the drama, which a depressed mind consumes that. Yeah, life is hard. Life sucks. This is why life's unfair. Da, da, da. And then when they see all the good news, and I'm never going to a depressed mindset cannot interpret good news or bad news in a healthy way, get off social media. And that was part of the problem when we were starting to do these income reports. For the healthy mindset, that should be inspiring. Right. That should be, if Terry can do it, and God, he can't hardly speak, he can't spell, he can't do that. The message is, if I can do it, anybody can. And that should be the message everybody took from it. But I'm telling you, it was just a small percentage of people. And I've talked to other Pat Flynn, I've talked to other people that have done, and if you'll notice, they all sort of, now John Lee Dumas still does it, but he's got a different system and a different mindset on some things than I do. And it's fine. It's not a right or wrong. It's just different. So you go to his site up there in the top right-hand corner, he's always, but I just decided it ain't worth the fight.
Well, we think about it this way. When we posted things like that, we also know part of our story is the foreclosure, the losing the business, bankruptcy, moving states to find jobs, like real world struggle, or real world garbage you were dealing with. And so to be able to come around and at the end go, this is what I'm using. This is what I'm doing. I will show you how to do every single thing. This is where I started. Yeah. This is what I'm making now. Doing this, and I will show you how I'm doing it,
But the problem is people don't see the context.
And not everybody sees that context. And that's not even on them sometimes.
Well, no, because we don't go through that every stinking show. And so you have to understand the brand, the story behind the brand, and all of that. Yeah. To really get that. But that was one of the reasons. But, we was talking about recalling experiences. That's one of the things that we sort of pulled back from our content. Number 12, find highly shared content in your industry. It stands to reason if people in your industry is sharing a certain type of content, a certain type of story, then you need to put your own spin on it. And you need to be able, like, for instance, an example, Reagan found this website that showed what all of the political leaders in our government was investing their money in. Every one of them, the top traded stock by congressmen and senators. And what was it? A CRM, a particular CRM company. So that told us that a lot of people was sharing that information. It sort of told us the value of what we offer, because they see and apparently by their own investment are projecting a future that is going to have people more and more working remotely. So it stands to reason we're in the right place at the right time, doing the right things. So had nothing to do with us. They weren't talking about TW3, but we took that content that's being shared in our industry and news, and we repurposed it for our own.
And a little bit of a teaser for maybe something that'll be a later training, but part of one of the highest search results right now on Google is work from home jobs.
Yes.
People want to work from home. What do? Show people how to work from home. That'll probably be something we use, but there's always content out there that you can borrow, obtain for the industry you're in.
Absolutely. Number 13, find your competitors' top ranking content. Find your competitors' top ranking content. Here again, if you know what other people in your industry is doing, you can also do the well. If your competitors care about SEO, they probably already have content that's ranking on Google and getting lots of organic traffic. These pages are often sources of great content ideas. Here's how to find your competitors' top performing content. Go to Site Explorer. And Site Explorer is ahrefs.com/site-explorer. And let me give you that website one more time, ahrefs.com/site-explorer. When you go there, you're going to be able to go to the top of the page and see what your competitors' top ranking content is. Now, boy, isn't that a little bit of a...
That's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool stuff there, so that you can sort of see, okay, what is, people that are in this online space, what are they doing, and what's getting information and track. And I'll go ahead and put it out. You know what's our number one search on my site?
What?
It's all mindset stuff.
Really?
It is very little, which tells you business owners.
Yeah.
It all starts with the way you think.
Yeah. No, that's
we spend so much time with the mechanical stuff, which we have to and which you need to. But our top ranking stuff is our take and our information and our value that we're bringing toward leadership development, management, personal development. One of my biggest searched as far as people coming to my site is how to set healthy boundaries. I did a blog and a content creation, 10 ways to set healthy boundaries. Another one was how to negotiate instead of manipulate.
Mm.
It was another one. It's about communicating, getting people compelled to do something without being manipulative. Mm. But those two are my top ranking to this day, and that's content's 5-6 years old, which I think is crazy.
That is pretty cool.
Yeah. Use content idea generators. If you're feeling really lucky, blog idea generators can also help you get started. For example, HubSpot has a free blog idea generator. And if you want to check out HubSpot's, just don't buy HubSpot stuff, buy it from TW3, but they've got a great blog.
Also, it's not if you're feeling lucky, it's if you're feeling stuck.
Oh, if you're feeling stuck.
Different.
Did I say that? Yeah, I can't read.
No, it's funny because I also read it lucky, like just passing through. But.
Yeah. But go to HubSpot.com/blog-topic-generator, and it will give you some ways to, some ideas on that. List pain points your business solves. That is huge. We're always talking about how to have leads on demand, how to have hot leads calling you right then and there, how to recruit on autopilot, all of those things. What are those? Those are pain points that our business solves.
Yeah, if you're a solution of any kind, that's a huge one, which I don't want to go too much more in detail because I feel like this is what we talk about all the time. But yeah, like we hit that nail pretty hard, which is we'll fix this stuff.
Yeah. Well, we can fix this real quick.
Yeah.
16 and last, update existing content. While most of us are focused on creating new content consistently, sometimes the best results come from updating content you already have. And I have done that multiple times, and it does work. We use this strategy to have doubled our traffic and some, according to this author, to maximize your return on investment from content updating. Prioritize updating posts that previously performed well and have recently lost most of the traffic, which I'm actually in the process of going back and getting some of the stuff where I interviewed Bill Champlin, I interviewed Tristan Bowden, I've interviewed some of these high profile, and I'm actually going to mesh them together and put together, one solid piece of content on business lessons I learned, mindset lessons I learned from speaking to members of Chicago, members of this group, members of that group. So that should be fun.
That'll be cool.
Yeah. Well, there's the 16 ways we just zipped through. I hope everyone got some value. It was a great show, I think, Reagan.
Yeah, I hope so. I know we're both tripping over our words today, which kind of...
Yeah, blah, blah, blah. Well, it's just a lot of stuff going on. And, hey, we're content creators as well. So a dirty little secret, this outline, we didn't even create. We went to a blog and said, hey, these are some great ideas.
Yep.
So if you're out there and you're just like, I don't know how to write content. Well, you just saw someone who did not write content. What did we do? We just put our own spin on it.
Mm-hmm. And it was, part of what this whole thing was is looking at it and going, do we do this? And being able to read the list and be like, I'm glad to know we're doing, most of these.
We're doing most of these, and here's how we're doing them.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. All we needed was a seed to sort of germinate a little bit, and then all of a sudden, boom, we got content, and we're bringing value to our audience, and we're not there going, hey, will you buy from us? Will you do? Yeah, we're trying to put value. So I think at the end of the day, all your content should be value focused. How can I pour value into an audience I'm trying to build or an audience I have?
Yeah.
And then hopefully through that process, people will either become attracted to you and your brand, or
the opposite.
and be repelled and save both of you time.
Yep.
but one or the other, and then maybe through a good relationship, good business can be established.
Yeah.
Well, one more time, the reminder on those dates here is April the 30th. We're going to be in Orlando, Florida, so make sure you get down there. That's going to be down there in High Life headquarters with Miller Time himself. May 18th, we're back home in Spartanburg, South Carolina. We've got over at the Marriott in downtown Sparkle City. We're going to be there. June 11th, we're out there in Astro Country, but we'll be chopping like Braves just to remind them who beat them in the World Series, Greenbacks. Who beat you in the World Series? No, I'm kidding. June 11th, we'll be out there with Greenbacks in Houston, Texas, so make sure you get over there and get your tickets for that. September 13th, we're in San Antonio, Texas. Remember the Alamo. We'll be with Miss Spelling Bee, and we might even go out with the wives on that one.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah, we'll
very cool.
Bring Gina and Alicia, and we'll do the river walk and just hang out with Peyton and Lori and just have a good time there in San Antonio, and can't wait to meet their team out there and the people that they're servicing with their tools. She's got people from her former days of helping them with their online marketing and their Yellow Page marketing and all that other stuff, and she'll be able to show them through this conference and all of these guys how business owners can go to the next level. With your retail, restaurant, direct sales, it doesn't matter. The name of the game is servicing the people you have and bringing more people in the fold, and that's what the TW3 system does.
And if they want to go and check those dates, they can go to terrywilson3.com/5for1conference.
Yep.
I believe we have some more. We've got more people that are still interested, so there probably will be more dates that we're announcing.
Yes,
in the coming weeks.
last Wednesday, we had several say, "Hey, I want to do one in Pittsburgh." We are talking about doing Atlanta sometime either in July or August, and then Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania sometime in one of those 2 months. And we're looking at California and Cleveland as well. So,
very, very cool.
So that's real cool. So, well, guys, we will see you next week.
Thank you for listening to our show today. If you have any questions or would like to speak with us about your goals, then please call or text us at 864-507-9696. Reach out to us online at terrywilson3.com.